悪いな、クリーム嬢。
What's up, guys? It's the AK Mindset, and we're back with a banging video today with a special guest, and we're discussing one of the best mangas that I've read in a long time, and it's definitely on my top 5 list, and I'm sure you guys, when you listen to this, will enjoy it too. So let me just introduce the guest to you. We have Satsuki, or how do you say it again? I'm really messing up.
Satsuki the Savage.
That's it, Satsuki the Savage, my guy. And obviously the one and only Choco, aka Daniel. Talk to them.
Yo, what's going on, people? Daniel here, or Choco, whichever one you want to call me. And we're talking Claymore. Had to round up the guys for this one because this series hit a different level.
Ooh.
But
It's clean.
It is clean. It is clean. But for the icebreaker, I just wanted to get your guys. What's your first impressions about Claymore? And also, how did you find out about Claymore? Did you get him through the anime, or were you manga only?
Well, okay. Oh, you want to go? Yeah, I'll just go first. So I'm kind of new to the manga scene. We were talking about this earlier before we started the podcast, but I got into manga. Like, the first manga I read was maybe like 5 or 6 years ago, and it was probably Berserk or Dead Man Wonderland, something like that. And I say that just to say, like, Claymore is one of the first things I read. Now, how I got into it was the anime, and I think Claymore may have been like the first anime I watched where I wasn't satisfied with how it ended, so I was forced to get into the manga. And so, like, that was my whole experience with Claymore. I think the anime had its good scenes here and there, but that ending was terrible. It's terrible. So that pulled me into reading the manga, because I was like, it ain't no way they fumbled with the source material. So I'm happy to say that Claymore is like one of the first things where it transitioned me from anime to manga, and I had a fun time with it. It was definitely better than anime.
Okay.
It kind of making me want to jump into the anime just to see how bad it was.
It's not good. It's not, like, it has its scenes. There's some scenes I think are actually better than the anime and the manga, but it's a big drop off towards the last 3 or 4 episodes.
Was it crazy different from the manga? Like,
yeah, because the anime it basically called an ISO and did its own thing. So
I see.
I'm trying to. I don't want to compare it to the Promised Goofy Land, because that's terrible. But
Trash.
it had its own anime original ending, and it ended. Like, just think about where, like, it ended around the suicide mission in the north. Like, that
Right.
That's around the area it ended. So think about all of that, and think about, like, how much it took to defeat Priscilla, and how much they would have to skip in order to beat her in the anime from that point. Like, could you imagine Claire, as she was in the Suicide Mission of the North arc, being capable of beating Priscilla?
No.
Of course not.
But they did. But they did.
What? That's like skipping the real, like, material, like the real, like, substance of what you needed to get to the very end.
That's
crazy.
It was a huge leap. It was crazy. But hey, like I said, it pushed me into the manga, so it is what it is. I'm not too mad at it.
Okay. What about you, Joe?
Well, obviously, and usually, as everybody's heard on this podcast, I've repeated multiple times, Daniel put me onto this series, as he does with most series. as like Satsuki said, I'm kind of new to the manga game as well. I haven't read as much as Daniel, so he always puts me on some great material, and I'm very happy he introduced me to Claymore because it's one of the most captivating materials I've ever read. It was one of those series that I could not put down. Like every day I would have to at least skip through a volume, read something. I was rereading chapters and I hadn't even finished the series. I'll just go back, I can't believe that happened. I have to reread that again. Like that's how deep into it I was. And it's just one of the best like character driven stories, even though it does have great world building and like just a general great theme throughout. But the characters, and it's hard to really contemplate how hard it would have been to make these characters so like captivating when there's so many. Like there's so many of them. It's actually stupid. Definitely one of my favorite series, and yeah, just I'm glad we have the opportunity to finally talk about it because I've been needing to have a conversation about Claymore for a hot minute.
High praise. Rightfully deserved though, because this series it's very different from what I've read before, and how I got into it, I don't really know. I've always seen Claymore about, and I heard a few things, and it was just sitting on my list, and I hadn't started it until I said to Satsuki, yeah, I haven't read Claymore, and then he was like, oh yeah, let's do a read through, and that was my first, I guess, avenue into reading it. And those first few volumes, it really helps you to get into the series quickly because of how intriguing the story is, how interesting just the world around you that's being set up, and then all these concepts and themes that's being thrown at you. So it's not hard to get into Claymore at all. It's a very easy read because of the strong opening volumes. And I think as you listen to us talk about it, you're gonna, if you haven't read it already, I don't know why you're here if you haven't, but this should be it should be like a recommendation for why you should read it. Hopefully we don't spoil you too much. But yeah, we'll get into the first topic now. And what I wanted to ask for you guys, I'll let you go first, Raguel. What do you think is the best aspects of Claymore as a series?
Well, there's a lot of things that kind of went into my thought process when thinking about this, because obviously I just mentioned just how well character driven it is and how in depth the characters are and their motivations and everything that kind of guides their will. But I think it's the thing that was so significant to me is how well balanced of a series it is. Like, it's not, some series is all action, like everything so focused on the battle scenes, and some series is all about the relationships, and there's multiple aspects I could talk about, but Claymore has the most balanced. I feel like that's why I enjoyed it so much, like the balance aspect of it, having great dialogue between the characters, showing all the dynamics and the power struggles, also just the larger theme that you're able to observe as a reader that really captivates you. You're like, what's gonna happen? How does this link? And it's just crazy to think how the writer was able to fit so much into such like this story so seamlessly. Because when you look at it, it's a lot of things going on, especially later on when you get the like revelations of how like big the world is. Like, you already see what you have in aspect of like the island they're on, but when you get, your mind is blown, like suddenly, like, oh my days, this is just a fraction of what's going on in the larger scope of things. And for me, that just gave me the showcase the complexity to it. So when you look at how things tie into each other, that's what I love about this series. So somebody else's problem over there, their solution is your present world. if you understand what I mean regarding
yeah.
the story without doing too much. But I think that's really the best aspect of the series, how well balanced it is, while showing so much.
Okay. I think I would agree with that, because like you were saying, with how many things are interlinked with the characters and then with the plot and the world especially, because that was a big revelation, and it's something that
Had me doing backflips.
I'm not even mad at it, because it's not something you would have expected, but it made sense within the context of the series, and it kind of just made you think how well planned it was. That's how it came off, because of how balanced the different aspects came through. Because of, you can really tell that the mangaka, I think his name's Norihiro Yagi, he came through, he planned out his series. You could tell what he wanted to do in the beginning, middle, and the end, and that shows constantly throughout the story, because there was never really a point where I was thinking, okay, what's this guy doing? I don't understand. It always made sense when you got to the climax of that specific arc or moment. But yeah, what about you, Satsuki? What do you think is the best aspects of Claymore?
I don't want to hold a series. I don't necessarily think is the best aspect of the series, but I'll just say one of the best. And I think it's an underrated part of it, and it's the power system. And the reason why I say that is because when people bring up power systems, like the best, you'll hear like JoJo and Hunter x Hunter, and it's mostly based on like their creativity, but those series are allowed to be that creative because it literally has no limits. But Claymore is interesting because the power system is kind of grounded. When you think about all the powers that exist in it, it's only like what their powers are limited to are either manipulating their Yoki energy to do something, or it's some body manipulation, something like that. And for us to be limited in that way but still have so many different things that these characters can do, it kind of reminds me of, and I haven't read or watched too far into this series, but it kind of reminds me of how like Fire Force has the powers foundation be on fire, but there's many different things that the mangaka Okubo does with that. So like we see a character like Galatea be able to manipulate Yoki energy and basically make them move how she wants to. Helen with her stretchy arm or limbs in general. Like I really like how the power system is grounded, but it still has so many different avenues that Norihiro goes with.
That's a great point, because it actually ties into what Raguel was saying about the balance, because we see so many different Claymores, and you can honestly say none of them fight the same. They all have their own unique style. They might be similar, but it's their own sort of twist on it. So that's something that I actually hadn't thought about. The power system is actually quite an underrated aspect of the series, because of it must have been because there's like over 40 Claymores we've seen, I'm pretty sure, and they all had their own fighting style. That's not easy to think of, and it's not easy to make it so distinct. So I have to appreciate that, because it takes a lot of hard work to do that.
The fighting styles, none of them are lazy, none of them are unintelligent, none of them are, I know you just wanted to get another power in for another character. That every character, even the characters that you don't see as often or you're not as exposed to throughout the season, you understand fully their power and why they have it and how they've trained it and how they've developed it. If you get what I mean, like it's so precise, and like you said, that's why it's great. Like, you can't not rate that.
I wanted to ask just a little bonus question. Do you have a favorite fighting style or like person who was fighting, if that makes sense, based on the power system?
I really like Galatea, and that just because of how when she first appeared, But I don't know. I would probably go with. I gotta go with the GOAT. You know what I'm saying? Well, not the GOAT, but close. She close. Phantomeria.
Yeah,
that style is crazy. The after images is just. It's so clean. It's clean to look at, and it's just a clean ability.
Do you remember that panel where she was fighting two of the organization's new recruits? I think it was the new twins and stuff. And they both like intersected their swords and stabbed her, and it looked like she was stabbed. And then on the next panel, she's gone, and I was like, Jesus! I was like, that's ridiculous. That's absolutely filthy. I was like, what am I reading? What am I watching? That was clean.
Yeah, that has to be my favorite style.
Yeah, the Phantom, that ability is too wavy. I can't lie. But my favorite is, it's weird because the way people think she fights is strange, but it's Cassandra the Dust Eater.
Oh yeah.
This is clean. Because even though she looks mad weird when she's fighting, she's cutting people up, she's slicing them down. That's she number one for a reason.
Sure.
I hear that. I think my favorite might be, even though it's not as you don't see it as much, is Deneve, and just her ability to regenerate so rapidly. Like, because she doesn't really have a fighting ability, but because she can be so reckless in her fighting style, because of how rapidly she can regenerate.
I like that one. I like that pick. Deneve is, I like her. She's cool. She's cool.
Yeah.
Well, I think the best aspect of Claymore is, I have to say, for me personally, the art and especially the character designs, because when it came to the Abyssal ones, I can honestly say none of the designs failed me. They were all amazing. They're like, artistically, you can tell how much detail went into each of their character designs, how they looked, and it also projected the aura that I would say it's associated with each one. You could feel how powerful they are just from their character design. So yeah, definitely.
Oh yeah.
Definitely, art is one of the top aspects of Claymore for me.
He easily probably has my favorite one out of the Abyssal ones.
Yeah,
I like all the designs, but easily is just cold.
Very cold. Very cold.
You look like the Horseman
He's
of
out
Death.
here looking like one senator, just standing there. He's like menacing. Crossbow and sword, everything.
I think what makes it cooler is like how he's presented in the story. Like, he's a very like calm individual, and then you just have that transformation. It's like, yo, this dude is a demon. But it goes along with how people say he is, because a lot of people were saying like, he's faking his demeanor, but he's really a beast. So like that transformation just showed you like, it's the real easily.
That's true. That's very true, because I was intimidated when I saw that. I was like, what is this? How are they even gonna beat him?
Well, Eastleigh was always intimidating, even when he was in like his normal form. Even when he was trying to hide from the Abyssal Eaters, he was always intimidating. If you cross paths with Eastleigh, like, just beg for your life. You're dying. Because he's on crud. Because of how calm he is, that's why fear is so. The other Abyssal ones that were more, raw with it, they were really outgoing, and like, they weren't as intimidating. Obviously, they're crazy powerful, but Eastleigh, I felt like he had that maturity, and like, he stood on top so much. It's like, I don't even have to be energetic with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think all the Abyssal ones are kind of like that too, in a different way. Because if you look at like Reeful, for example, anytime she talks, it's in a real polite. Like, she's always polite when she talks, but she will murder you, torture you, all of that. It is just, she has supreme confidence. Like, there's only a few people who can really stop her from doing what she really wants.
Yeah, I agree with you on the Reeful point. She was She was. I love her character, but she's a scary individual. Especially her power as well. It feels unstoppable to beat, even though she did get beat. But especially, I think in almost every fight she was in, I never really bet against her because she just had that overwhelming force.
Yeah, even when they came off the time skip, I was like, yeah, Reef was still in command. Cause like how they were talking about her, like, we gotta run. we are not fighting her.
After 7 years too. But speaking about characters, I think that's a good segue to go into our top 3 favorite characters. So, you guys.
I feel like we're gonna have to
say.
say. I feel like we ain't going. I feel like this is not going to be diverse, honestly.
I'm feeling the same way. The feeling the same way because the way you guys have been talking about characters is like legit all the characters I was feeling throughout the series. But we'll see in it. We'll see. We'll see.
He's feeling brave. He wants to go first.
We starting 3? We starting at 3?
Yeah. We'll start at 3.
Okay. Who's going first?
I'll jump first because I don't need you guys to take mine. You know the ones. Okay, 3, I might be kind of cheating because I picked a combo of people. I picked Refor and Dalf or Doof.
For that, you'll have to turn on Wi-Fi and connect to the network.
Legit my Amazon thing going off. But yeah, I picked those 2 because I just like how complex their relationship was. I felt kind of sorry at first because I was like, I was looking at them, was like, what is this relationship? What is this power dynamic? This is weird. Like, what is this? They're faking it. But as we went throughout the series and I continued to see they had a real deep love for each other, you know, it kind of grew on me. It's like the real, like, the deepest like couple relationship in this series, surprisingly, so weirdly, it really is. And it kind of gave that kind of different dynamic to Abyssal Ones, that they're more than just their immense power and more than you know, just the monster that we perceive them to be. And you know, it gave kind of the character development. So like, you have to understand Abyssal Ones and look at them as individual with scopes that are beyond just being a monster, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, especially when you look at someone like Easley, he was so similar. He had real emotion and real feelings that you have to kind of like take in and understand. Like, I want to say they're a person, but obviously I also don't want to say they're a person because I know they're not people. But they had real emotion and real drive and real passion for things and one another, and especially with the revelation of Reefall, like she just wanted friends. If you think, she wanted comrades that would help her and stand with her and fight violently against other people who come against her. You know what I mean? Even though she did go about it in the wrong way, like you can't torture people. Right? You can't do that.
I mean, with all that power, there's only a couple people that can stop it. I think that's another. I just think that's a good part of Claymore too. The fact that like a lot of shonen series, you always have like the MC built up to like take out all these threats, and like even with like Priscilla, Claire didn't really do that. You know, we could talk about that later, but with the Abyssal Ones in particular, they didn't have enough power at any point to take them down.
True. At all.
That's very true.
I
don't think they took any of them down.
No, they didn't.
Not like 101, or it was always situational based. Like there had to be something going on, or you know, that helped them and helped the situation go their way. They basically were leagues apart. They had no hope.
Yeah, they didn't, because sometimes the series will have this big power creep where like characters will need to get stronger because of the threat level, obviously. But other than the 7-year time skip, and it's understandable because it's 7 years where they're training in isolation, just sharpening each other's blades.
Yeah,
it's like, other than that, they didn't have any big power boost or anything, but they were still able to get the job done because of the situation before them and just being smart. So I think that's pretty cool.
I have to agree.
Yeah, it was more like in intelligence and just being experienced, especially some of the leaderships and some of the Claymore who were like really strategic with it. Like they knew how to manipulate the situation in their favors, like when it was crunch time. Number 2, Godai Galate, and she, apart from being like just a beauty, easy on the eye, the love of my life, probably. What? You're gassing it. Oh, you're gassing it, man. You're gassing it. That's pure eyes.
Wait, who?
Renee.
The
one with the braids.
Oh, yeah, the one with the lips.
Yeah.
She bad. I don't know. I really like Galatea. I like Renee. I probably had to go with I really like Hysteria, and I think her name was Anastasia.
Oh yeah. She's nice.
Diatrish was fire as well. Diatrish, oh my days.
Can't go wrong there. Even Ophelia before she betrayed me.
True.
And you knew what it was.
Low-key, basically everyone. Like there's nobody. I'm not sleeping on any characters in this series when they're on the page. All of them had their moments in my heart.
Apart from Clarice.
Of course.
Oh my god, hey man, hey. She had a tragic end though. Give her that. At least give her that.
I'll give her that. But she's majority of, she was putting up triple singles for the majority of the series.
Wow.
Yeah, it was bad out there for her, man.
I'm in it like Westbrook. Westbrook.
Oh man, nah, she was not putting up numbers, man. That it was kind of tragic. It's just funny how like she's introduced to the series. It's kind of like, like even her name. It's like, like I'm gonna be the new MC. Oh my god.
It's like nah. It's like sold her dreams for real.
That was dirty. But Galatea, that's clean.
Yeah, she fire. I think I just like how much she changed throughout the series. Like she started off as that kind of vain, prideful character, especially she was super concerned about how she looked. I remember one fight, she was like apologizing for using her yoki and looking, she thought she was looking ugly. I was like, what are you doing? Like chill, just beat your opponent. But then after the 7-year time skip, she like developed as a character, lost her eyesight. R.I.P. Oh my days. And do you know what? She was kind of badder when she lost her eyesight. I don't know how I feel about that. But when she lost her eyesight, that really did something for me. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I've never heard that before. That's my first time hearing something like that.
Bro, I'm not gonna lie to you. Her eyes were gone, and immense love for her was, I don't know. Every time I read that, and she was in the panels, I was like, oh my days.
Listen, I can't judge. I don't even want to bring this character up because I know I'm gonna be looked at. But if you watch To Your Eternity, Hayase, after she got struck by the bear, I don't know what it was, but she did it for me.
Don't kill me.
I don't know what it is
as well. That's super specific.
Yeah,
I respect it. And my number 1, which is, I'm expecting this to be like this person to be in everybody's list, and is Fanta Maria. The GOAT, as you said. She makes everybody's list, probably the NBA 75 short list as well. She makes everybody's list.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely.
For sure.
Like I don't even have to say too much about her. She was just impeccable throughout the series as an individual, as a driver of the main story, as you know, she was so intelligent as well. Like her intelligence and her understanding of like the wider what's going on and how she was going to operate and it felt like everybody else's motivations for stuff were so not substantial compared to her like big, I want to say dream, her bigger like vision of a fight for freedom, and not only her freedom but everybody's freedom. Because in the series you're like, she feels like the only person to understand how much they're in, like they're bottled up in their cage, and she's like, no, I can't have that. This system, the organization, even beyond the organization, this ain't it. I'm gonna break free. And I just love her for that, man. That's my top 3.
Nicely put. Very nicely.
That's clean. Ooh, that's a list. You can't get mad at any of those picks.
I can't. I'm surprised you didn't put one person on there.
We both gonna have her, Choco. I know.
Yeah.
I know. Who going
I was
next?
tempted, but I was like thinking of like what you guys will also choose. So I was like, you know what, I might have to be a tad different.
I heard that. Okay. You
want
want to
go next?
Yeah, you can go.
All right, my number 3 is Helen.
Yes.
Did she even have a nickname? Did she have one?
I don't remember. She might.
I don't know if she had one.
It'll be on the screen if it
I don't think she did. You might have to give her a nickname. You might as well.
See, I would I would give her like something
Helen.
like yeah. I mean, yeah, that can work. Let's move.
I feel like that's not good enough there.
Yeah, but I mean, like the reason I pick Helen is, especially very early into Claymore, with the cast in general, with the Claymores I'm talking about. I won't say saying they don't have a personality is like not the right way to describe it, but they're very they're not very expressive. And I felt like Helen was one of the characters to like break us out of that mold, because she would do things like drink. She was always smiling. She was always laughing. Like most of the times the characters are very serious, and it's not even like she did bring comedic relief, but I think more of it is just like her like brightening the mood of the series, even if it's not necessarily funny. Like her presence just literally makes things not as dreary as they can be. Yeah, she was a fun character. I like how she used her powers, eventually like mimicking John's power of, you know, the like twisty arm thing. I was clapping when she did that, because I'm like, okay, because you're using the stretching powers to like use something that we already seen before and was effective. So yeah, Helen was just clean.
Yeah, I can get behind that bit. I love Helen. She's, as you said, comedic relief. Anytime she was on the page, I was creasing, because I don't know, she just brings out nice positive energy with her.
Yeah, she definitely had good vibes around her. But my number 2, and we already talked about her, Phantom Media. You know what I'm saying? Like what did it for me when it came to Miria is, first, I think her plotline is just as interesting as any character you point to in the series. Like, yeah. Claire had her whole, you know, journey to revenge, but Miria brought the world building aspect to the series because she was trying to uncover the organization and trying to take it down. And in doing that, you saw her leadership qualities. And man, I think it was the chapter where the organization got the Claymores to attack her, and
oh my days.
you think that she's dead from that, you know, like they hack her, and then she comes back and you're just like, oh shit, and she's scarred up. And Helen said, or not Helen, Miria said, all right, let's do this. And then she got everybody, she turned everybody against the organization. I was like, okay, that's a leader. That's how you do it. And she was doing that the whole season, even before then, because she was pretty much running the seven ghosts. Like, she was the person that everybody looked towards to when they needed to do anything. A lot of people didn't listen to her a lot of times, but Miria was that guy. She was that gal. And the powers, man, we gotta talk about that. The phantom powers were, anytime it was drawn on panel, I was like, oh, we got another good one here. Her fight with Hysteria was definitely one of my favorites.
Yeah, she went beyond the limits on that one.
Yeah, like even how the fight went too, it was just, that came down to be a big brawl. And I like how she was content with winning in an ugly way, because I think that was like Hysteria's downfall, is that she was Hysteria the elegant, so she didn't want to get dirty in her fights, and Miria was, you know, willing to do that. Sometimes you gotta fight dirty.
Facts. Shout out to the Dust Eater.
It's kind of cool, like you kind of mentioned that, because I was thinking, like, throughout the series I had the same kind of mindset, especially like you're saying, she went beyond just thinking, I don't always have to win clean, I can win dirty. Because most of the Claymores in this, most characters, they seem so prideful, like throughout the series. Like, there's certain things and certain ways they want to achieve things and want to win. And I'm not sure if that's because of how similar, like, all of their upbringing was, or the trauma they went through, or the teachings they had when becoming, like, you know, the training, becoming Claymores. I'm not sure why they all have that kind of innate pride that most of them throughout the series don't get over. Most of them, you know, it ends up being the sword they die on.
Yeah. Roxanne is like that. Well, no, Roxanne is kind of weird though, because she has that pride, but like she will be willing to fight dirty, but like when she gets tired of that technique, you know, then you know, she switched gears. And the Roxanne is hilarious. I wish we would go deeper than 3, just because I don't know where I would have her, but like there needs to be a discussion on Roxanne.
She's a terrorist.
But yeah, man, my number one, come on, man, you already know, Teresa of the Faint Smile. You know what I'm saying? A flashback character who, like, it's crazy to me, because when you think about how many chapters she's been in, she wasn't in a lot. She's definitely outnumbered in chapter appearances when it comes to like the main cast. Even it's like some of the lesser characters, like Yuma or somebody like that. But her impact, that flashback was one of my favorite sections of Claymore. And obviously she had impact due to Claire being in the story. But man, when I say anytime she was on screen, she was entertaining. And it's crazy because like we already knew how powerful she was, but it still wowed me anytime she would just demolish her opponents. And I think what's crazier about it is the fact that I don't even think we've ever seen her fight at full power, which is wild to think about, because she just never really tapped into her Yoki power because she just didn't have to. And man, like I said, the backstory with her being a mother to Claire, like, you know, that definitely got me attached to the character outside of the fighting part of it. But I think the main thing with Teresa, why I like her, is that calm and cool demeanor when she shows up on screen or on panel. You know it's gonna be good. She give you that confidence, because the faint smile, you already know it's gonna be good. Ain't nobody touching
wholesome vibe, low key.
Yeah, I love it. Like and when she talks her shit and she's all cocky, like, I love it, because I know she can back it up.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say too much because you already know, but yeah, Teresa, she's a different beast still. Do
you know what's crazy about the flashback? And obviously, like you said, it was one of the best flashbacks I've seen or read, and especially in this series, they use flashbacks so well. But when I was reading that, I didn't know I was reading a flashback for a hot second. I was reading and I was confused. I was like, why is the story switching up suddenly? Like, what is happening? Who are these characters? It took me a hot second to realize it was a flashback, but when I did, it was incredible.
Yeah, Choco was like, seeing his read through, he was the same way, and I was the same way when I watched the anime. I don't know what it is about it, but it kind of just made you believe that, okay, we're just focusing on another Claymore. I don't know why, but okay. But like when Teresa gives Claire her name, it's like, oh. So yeah, the way that flashback was done was pretty good, because I had no awareness of what was going on.
It was so seamless. Because even when she gave Claire the name, I was like, oh, so there's two Claires in the story now.
I know that ain't who I think it is.
Don't kill me.
And it wasn't until the end I was like, oh my days, they're the same Claire, and I was just like, oh wow, I can't believe.
I think that's the moment when I knew that I had to be on my toes while I was reading this series. It's not a series that I can just be, dilly-dally and like just not concentrate. I have to concentrate on each panel because you don't know when they're going to switch up on you and like pull the rug from under your feet.
Yeah,
it does that a lot. Oh, it does that too many times. But yeah,
Once two Claires, I like that.
I really thought there was two Claires. I was like, oh, wouldn't it be funny if this was the same Claire? Sasuke's just reading there like he doesn't even know.
Yo, when they gonna meet up?
Don't kill me, fam.
I really thought they were gonna meet up. I was like, okay. Nah. Listen, I had too many theories that were not true. We'll put it that way. But yeah.
Two jokes.
Okay, top 3. So number 3, I got Claire. Because listen, the journey from chapter 1 to chapter 155 or something like that. Yeah. The trials, the tribulations. Because a lot of protagonists, they don't really struggle. Because Claire, she becomes stronger by the end of the series. Like, she's not number 47 anymore. And I can honestly look at her and say, yeah, you earned every single power-up you got. Because there were so many times we saw her getting dragged through the mud, seeing her getting beaten up, seeing her at so many low points. So we see her work through these challenges and overcome them to become stronger. And even at the end, it wasn't even by her power. It was by obviously Teresa who helped her. But I can see the way she changed, became mature, opened up. Because when we first saw her, even I couldn't really get a good read on her. And then when we get to the slashes, you see how even though she was portrayed to be quite calm, she's actually quite emotional, which is a weird juxtaposition between like her outer face and inner face. And learning those different things about her character, and then how she was engaging with the other Claymores, picking up techniques. Yeah, and then also the distinction when we found out how she was an attack Claymore rather than a defense Claymore. And then that just made like other things that happened in the story hit a lot more, because we already knew she was the weakest. So if she was losing limbs, that's not going to be good, because she's not going to be able to regenerate them. So that's why when she lost one, I was like, I don't even know, because I was like, she's already the weakest, so why are you making her weaker? But obviously it was for a reason. I was not happy during that Ophelia fight. I'll put it. I was distraught because Ophelia was bullying this woman. She ran away, and I was like, okay, cool. And you just see Ophelia pop up again. I was like, oh my days, is this woman for real? Why is she so obsessed with this girl?
That whole thing was just clean. Those stretcher chapters too, because Ophelia is just like, because I think before then, Miria was like, okay, so I'm gonna tell you the top 4 Claymores since I'm number 6, and then she's like, okay, these are top 4: Alicia, Beth, Galatea. Watch out for this one. Number 4, watch out. if you run into her, do not engage. And then the person she teams up with is Ophelia. He's like, oh shit. And when she gets hacked apart, and then you see Alina pop up with the cloak. Oh my god,
Bro,
man, that was clean. Yeah.
Super clean.
Nah, that whole arc was, yeah. But anyway, my number 2, I think these guys have they sung her praises, Phantom Miria. I mean, it was only right. And I'm actually here to do a public apology because during that arc where she was not attacking, trying to kill the Claymores, and then she was just getting beaten up, I was out here cussing her. I lost my faith, so I have to.
Really?
I lost faith. I have to be honest. I was like, you're a bozo. I said she's a bozo.
I can't believe it.
And then she came back. The next chapter, I was like, oh my god. She actually turned them to her side. Wow, I'm a fraud.
I can't believe you lost faith, man. I rated her more because of that. I was like, especially when she was going through her trauma, seeing some her dead friend. Who was it again? Actually,
I can't. I will not remember her name.
She was seeing, one of her dead friends, and it was like, okay, that made me respect her more. That she, even how hard she is and headstrong she is, she still has that softness in her heart that obviously led to her demise. But there's worse ways to die, and I love that she did come back.
The comeback is what made her solidified number 2 because it was just too cold. The double page spread, and it's just like, yeah,
I was in shock.
We're turning this around, bruv. Yeah.
I did. When I saw some of the organizations, their faces when they were like, what? How is she still alive? What is happening? It was crazy.
No, she's the best. She's the best. The Phantom, man. I think she's probably got the coldest epithet. I don't think anyone's beaten the Phantom. I'm not gonna lie to you. Phantom Miria.
Yeah, it's cold. Like that one's one of my favorites. Roxanne of Love and Hate is one of my favorites. You gotta go classic.
White Silver King.
Oh yeah, that too.
That's hard.
We could have that could have been a list too, because some of these names are pretty cool. Somebody had a whack name. I can't remember who it was, but I remember just reading like, oh, okay, that's kind of whack.
I don't remember it, so I guess I must have had to expunge it from my memory because it was just that bad.
If I remember it, I'll let you know.
Please don't.
The other series, I was like, I wish I was giving them the nicknames, but I would have gave them the worst nicknames. I would have been like Future Wife, Galatee, Sweet One, Teresa. I would have been in my bag, fam. I would have been doing it. I would have got cancelled for that though. They were like, nah, this guy's unserious. He can't be giving those dead nicknames.
Man, a lot of these organization people was unserious. They had like 2 people who was serious about their jobs. Everybody was just relaxing.
They were chilling.
Yeah, okay. Alright. Number 1, the undisputed, never changed after her introduction, solidified, Teresa of the Faint Smile.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
Listen,
wow.
It's crazy how someone in a flashback can be my favorite character in the series. It's crazy how strong the flashback was. How strong she was. She's just so wavy with her Claymore, man. Every time she was in a fight, even when she got ran up on with Alina, Sophia, Noelle, Priscilla, I was like, oh no, is she done? The answer is no.
Nope.
She's the waviest, bro.
Oh my god, that shows that like I keep saying that was one of my favorite parts of Claymore too. It's just the whole hype of Priscilla and how she's next up and how she's going to overtake Teresa, and then Teresa just like shut that up.
She bodied.
Because like even Ali didn't understand how strong Teresa really was. Like she does not use her power in fights. I think they said like she was using 10% of her Yoki power, and obviously like there's like a cap on it before you start the start the turn, but still 10% is nothing.
Facts. It just shows how man, she's amazing. And then let me just organize. But yeah, fight wise, strength wise, she's amazing. She's truly the strongest Claymore. I don't want to hear anything from anybody else. Like no one else is beating her. Yeah. And character wise,
not at all.
Character wise, she's so strong. Her relationship with Claire, it touched me, man. It really did.
Wholesome, man.
Mother
Wholesome.
Teresa.
Oh, peace.
Yeah, I think what like made it a stronger thing is when you have the whole rule of the Claymores not being able to kill humans. And you saw how far she went for Claire. Oh my God, when Claire was being held up by old boy and they taunted her, and then I think it was even like crazier in the anime because it's like they just get. Well, no, you see her fight the one guy, and then like everybody after that just gets off screen, and then she's just like surrounded by blood, and you just like it was a massacre. So she did not play about Claire.
That's her mom, man. She really looked after Claire, and I like how Claire was able to, melt her heart to get Teresa to open up. Because that panel where she's holding Claire, and then she starts crying for the first time. Damn, that's one of the reasons why the flashback's such a good part of the story, because of you get those moments, and it's just the guy flexing. He's like, yeah, I can write this well this early in the series, but don't worry, I got more left for the rest. It's just, yeah, I love Teresa, man. I don't think there's actually a character that's better than her for me, honestly.
We have to add more hype to Claire, because like when she was following Teresa like through the forest as a kid, walking behind her, like no food, no nothing, no water, struggling. Like I could not do that. When I was reading that, I was like, just go home. I know you don't even have a home anymore, but pick a tree. Live with the squirrels outside.
Then you got the most powerful Claymore just kicking the shit out of you. Oh my goodness. I would have turned back. After that first one, I would have, okay, I'm gonna holler at you. Obviously, you don't need any company. You good.
Facts. Oh, but she was so persistent. And that's obviously what Teresa saw in her. She was like, this like young girl won't go away. Like she's chosen me. I'm stuck with her. I have no choice. Like you have no choice but to love her and care for her. And just to see that relationship develop and how she changed so much as a character, like it was crazy, man. And the wildest thing is the significance of the flashback and those moments, those really detailed moments that like go throughout the story. Like they're like the I want to say like foundation, but not even foundation. It's like a vibration that vibrated throughout the story so like beautifully and elegantly. And you have that kind of depiction of the beginning of obviously Claire's vengeance tour, and obviously her relationship with Teresa, and at the end how that then comes to a beautiful conclusion. Like it's beautiful, like it's stunning on every other dynamic throughout the series. Even when Eastleigh had his like fake family, when he had Raki and Priscilla, even that there was no comparison to how pure that. I think it's because it was like a mother and her daughter, you know what I mean? I just gave that pureness to it compared to the other relationships. There was nothing that they could really gain from each other. It was just, I'm sacrificing my all for you. And that kind of sacrifice is what, Claire wanted to repay.
Yeah, I mean, I think that type of dynamic is always interesting to see when you have a character like Teresa, who's very cold and uncaring, and then they eventually warm up to somebody like that. That's always going to hit, and it was just executed perfectly because the Claymores in general are like that because they're isolated. They go to their regions, they take down the Yoki, and that's pretty much it. Like they don't get to express any real human emotions of caring for someone. Like that's just, they do their job and that's it. They just do what they're told. And Teresa was like that for a long time. Like sure, she would like deviate and do her own thing, but you know, wait, what is this? Okay, I don't know why I just had a notification, but yeah, like Claire was able to break through to her. Like one of the telling moments is just when she gets Teresa to actually sleep in the bed, because all Claymore just, you know, plant their sword into the ground or wherever they are, and they'll just like rest like that just because they're used to that. They don't sleep in inns or anything like that. They just they're warriors. They fight. Yeah, they don't even enjoy like eating or anything like that. But yeah, you know, Claire was able to bring out those human emotions in her, because they exist with every character. It's just they don't really get to express it because they don't need to.
I think that's why I had like a lot of sympathy throughout the series for all the Abyssal ones or most of the Claymore, and I would say to some extent some of the organization, like individuals in the organization, but not as much. But especially the Claymore and the Abyssal ones, I feel like they got kind of boxed into an idea and concept of what they had to be, and they kind of accepted it. And because of that, they weren't able to explore other like avenues or ventures, or even expand themselves as characters, as individuals. There was nobody. It feels like they were just like gliding through their existence, just fighting and killing and repeat, sleep, eat, kill, repeat, you know, do whatever the organization sells or tells them to do. But Claire really was the first individual, like you said, that gave her the opportunity to see beyond that, which is just is really impactful, because like, especially if you think just in general life, there's individuals who give people perspective that there's more, and that's what Teresa got from Claire. She's like, they might be more for me. Like I might have a heart, I might have something I can care for, I have something like I worry about. Like before that, she was never worried. Even like if you think about it, Claymore was when they lacked that kind of relationship, or Abyssal ones when they lacked that kind of relationship. I don't even think they even care about their existence or their lives. They don't mind if they die. If they die, like they'll rather win. But if they die, that's, you know, just part of the list, or you know, each generation. It is what it is. You know what I mean? It was like that. But then with her, she was like, it's not like that. I'm not going to accept that. I have somebody I will protect, and somebody I will you know, have deep emotional connection and drive and passion for, which that's why this story and the series is so good.
Yeah, like before, Teresa was just her surviving, but Claire was the reason to live, because she felt that she needed to protect her, and it's a way of like validating her powers, because now she could use that to protect Claire rather than just killing a Yoma. Because even though like killing a Yoma protects people, that's only done on a condition if they can pay it. Like if they can't pay it, she's not helping you. Like that's just how the rules go. But now she has someone to where she can use her strength in a positive way, because I mean, if you go after Claire, most likely you're a scumbag and you're gonna get dealt with. So you know, it was a way for Teresa just to use that strength in a way that benefited someone in a positive way.
I feel like that's the moment she actually felt alive. She was like, I'm actually a living something. I actually exist for something, not just, you know, passing time and like just, you know, just being, you know what I mean? There's something more to her existence, which was, yeah, beautiful.
I think that's a nice way to wrap up that topic there about our favorite characters. And now I want to go into the third topic where we're talking about character motivations. Like, what are your thoughts on the characters' goals and their beliefs, and if you learned any takeaway messages from the series?
I found like Claire's motivation is pretty simple, but I always find this interesting when you get a revenge story, but then like that character is so focused on getting their revenge, but then in that journey of revenge, there's things that make them question like whether it's worth it or not. And a lot of the time is gaining friends, and I think like the person that made Claire like kind of reconsider getting her revenge was Rocky, because in the same way Rocky became a person that she had to protect, and you know, just like Teresa did for her years ago. But what's interesting is Claire was going to try to get a revenge no matter what. This what made it funny, because like a lot of the time like that'll be a thing that will deter them, and maybe they'll abandon a revenge or think that it's not worth it. But the whole way Claire said, nah, I'm killing Priscilla. That's I gotta do this for Teresa. Not one time with like her, like there'd be some times where she just goes off track, but there's never been a time where she said, I'm not gonna do this. Like, it's not worth it. She was I gotta kill Priscilla. I love that.
I knew she was on job and on crud when, as soon as the moment came, she's like, yeah, I'm abandoning all my humanity. She said that. There was no reason for her to say that. But she just like, okay guys, I have to tell you, like, I have no morals now. I'm not, don't even call me Claire now. I have one objective.
Yeah.
Had me in tears. I was like, right, you're wild, Claire. Actually, wow. Oh, she's built different, man. She's built different.
For real.
What about you, Joe? Because I know this was your topic, isn't it?
This one, so like jumping on Claire for a bit, I think I did like her motivation and everything, but I did feel like it was so simplistic and always like emotional based. Like it was it's very reactive. If it was like, even though she had such a long time to like meditate or think and grow, she was stuck at that kind of childhood trauma. She was stuck in that moment where Teresa died, and she had not left at all. And whatever happened, you know that she was gonna like activate that inner demon whenever Priscilla, even if you like mentioned Priscilla's name, I know she would have changed. She'd be like, what? Priscilla? Where? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For me, the person who the two people who had the most interesting kind of like dynamic and motivation was Maria, and how she throughout the story she kind of had that bigger objective, especially when she was informed by who is the do you know the spy guy? I'm not sure his name. The spy from the.
I know what you're talking about, but I can't forget. I can't remember his name.
What was his name?
Raguel or something like that.
I think so. I think so.
Like those two had for me the with scope-wise the biggest like drive and motivation and like journey that would lead to a lot of things changing for everybody's lives. So like with Claire, it was immediate. It only affected her. Like it was her vengeance. You know, she was like, I need to kill. But with Maria, it's like, I need to change the whole foundation and whole aspect of our existence like altogether. I need to break down the invisible barriers and walls that have been shrouding our visions so that everybody can see and everybody can have true freedom. And kind of working with that Rebel or Ruble, whatever his name is, guy, he allowed or facilitated that. And for me, throughout the story, he was kind of pulling the strings. So he was feeding misinformation here and there and giving clues, and like obviously for his own goal. But Maria, even he said that beyond that, you didn't react like how I thought you would react. Like she was so open-minded and had such a big worldview, and it was so it encompassed everyone that she was able to kind of even see through his manipulation. Like she was able to move beyond that and be like, okay, nah, I'm not going to go that way. But I think what I really learned from her character was that you shouldn't, especially in her position, you shouldn't put everything on your back. And even though she is a great leader and a great like individual with insight, experience, and perspective, you can't like let everything, all the responsibility land on your back. That's too much pressure. Like you break. And her death kind of for me symbolized like that's the end of me doing this by myself. You know what I mean? But that whole process, she was doing it all by herself. When she pulled up at the organization, she didn't tell anybody, which was crazy. And that's because she thought, oh, I'm the only one who has an understanding. And maybe she was looking down. No, I wouldn't say looking down, but you know, in a way, she didn't think that others would understand her perspective and what she was seeing, and then, you know, make the right moves. But when she died and came back, it was like, yeah, this is the complete journey of her. Like she's resurrected anew, even though it's like technically it wasn't a resurrection. You know what I mean? So that was so like impressive and so cool, and really had like deep-rooted messages that like I enjoyed when I was reading it.
Well said.
Very well said. I think with Miria, one of the things I took away from her is to ask questions, because she was always skeptical about everything the organization was telling them. She didn't really put all of her eggs in one basket, if you could put it that way. And she was always looking to find out information for herself, to verify it for herself, so that way she knew what she was looking at was true. That's why she was going out to all these places. That's how she discovered that the country was just really a small part of the overall world. And that's how she found out about the truth of the world. I think that's one of the aspects that makes her character so interesting, because she's probably one of the only proactive characters we see in that aspect, who is actually trying to find information. Because a lot of the Claymores we see like late in the latter half of the series, and this is one of my, I guess, not the problem with the series, but problem with them, that they put so much faith in the organization, and they were so willing to just obey them and not really verify what they're saying. Just like, oh yeah, the organization told me this, so I'm gonna believe it. They didn't really look to question, why would someone rebel? Why would someone do this? As like, oh no, you're wrong. You didn't listen to the organization. So that's why I like Miria, because she's actually someone who is willing to ask the questions and go out and do the work to find out what the answers are. And then another thing, devotion in the series. I mean, that's a pretty strong theme throughout the whole series. You see it with Claire and Teresa. In the slashers, you know, the whole Seven Ghosts, they're quite devoted to each other. And also Jean, I think she embodies this the most, because of how once Claire saved her, she was fully 100% all in with Claire. It didn't matter what Claire would do. Claire could probably jump off a cliff and Jean would be right there with her. She was
a dog. Listen, she was loyal.
That's the personification of loyal. Like, if you opened a book or a dictionary and you looked up the word loyal, it just have a picture of her. Jean, because that's her. She,
Like,
oh yeah, go Satsuki.
Like one good example of it is when Claire pulled it. Like this is during like the suicide mission in the north, when Helen and yeah, I think was it Helen?
Yeah, it was.
It was. Yeah, like when they greet, like they cross swords with Claire, and then she stepped up there and say, "Hold up," she said, "Hold up, what you doing?" She pulled up on him like, "What you doing?" And say, "Bro, we just playing." He's like, "Oh, okay." I'm just making sure.
She had to make sure.
Yeah,
making sure.
she was not playing nothing. She like no stones unturned. If you fuck with Claire, you seeing me. Simple.
Yeah, listen, she's just so it's so interesting how it was so easy for her to, once she said that, to just stick to that, because you'd think there'd be some wavering, but you never saw that in her character at all. So it's quite it's interesting how easy it was for her, and she made the ultimate sacrifice as well. Can't lie, that's what even solidified it for me. She's like, she lived what she said.
Yeah, I think it's more impressive too because of her rank. She's in the top 10, so you expect all of those characters to be super prideful. And I think even like Helen was like caught off guard by that too, by having I think she was number 9, like having the number 9 Ward Claymore protect someone like Claire who's number 47, but she didn't care about rank or anything like that. Like for her, it was, this person saved my life, I'm doing everything in my power to make sure they're good. And like you said, she made the ultimate sacrifice, and she did it without without batting an eye. It was an easy choice for her to make.
The greatest.
He had like similar like loyalty to like, so like Dietrich had similar like loyalty levels, but she like it's mixed, because obviously she was first loyal to the organization, because when like Helen and Deneve like save her, she's like, okay guys, I'm so thankful and grateful that he saved me, that I don't want to snake it, I don't want to lie, I don't want to tell people that I saw you, so like take me as your, capture me, I'm just gonna follow you, and I kind of like that, because similar to Jean, because she has that kind of loyalty and respect for things that people do. If you do decide for me, to that degree, I have to kind of sacrifice something back. I can't be just one way, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, but she's very earnest, wears her heart on her sleeve, honest. Like you can. She's not a hard person to read, like both of those characters.
I think the bit that shocked me the most is when she was like, if you have to kill me, kill me. And I was like, what? Like, what are you on?
So easily said.
Maybe a stream. Maybe a stream.
Is it that deep? Is it that deep? And that obviously took Helen and Deneve but they were shocked by that. They're like, what? Like, how can somebody like this exist, that when you don't know me, I just saved you, we don't really have anything that links us together apart from obviously the claymores, and we have similar experiences, but beyond that, you don't have any responsibility or anything, attachment to protect me. And she was like, nah, you saved me, I have to protect you, like whatever that looks like, I'll do it.
It always felt like the Claymores had like this inherent sisterhood among them, because it was very easy for them to group together and form a rebellion, because like you said, like all of them experience similar things in their childhood and their upbringing, so it's kind of like everybody gets it, like everybody has been there, done that. So it's and it's not like people who are like loyal to the organization, they just do it because they've been doing it for a long time. It's not like they treat it well, so they feel a need to protect them or anything. So when it came to the rebellion, it's just like, you know, everybody had that sense of like teamwork with each other. Like, you know, we all cool with each other.
Definitely. Because I think there was the group that was inside the castle, and they ended up teaming up with the guys who were outside anyway. So even though they weren't really supposed to be a part, they did it because they felt
the young ones.
Yeah.
I remember that now.
Rocky. But
yeah.
quick
glow up.
What do you think about Rocky?
Rocky, there's this mad moment in this series, and do you remember? Did I dream this? Is this fake? Did Claire and Rocky kiss when he was like young?
It happened.
They did kiss, I'm pretty sure.
It should have been me, not him! It's not fair!
Bro, I was hit by... I was like, what's happening? I was like, why? What? That's the only real suspect moment throughout the series, obviously, apart from every sus thing the organization does when they're, you know, trying to take kids and at a young age. The FBI need to be doing their job on the organization because they do too much. But Rocky and Claire kissing, I thought this was at first I was like, this is a brother and sister relationship. Okay, cool. I'd accepted that. And they kiss. I was like, okay, what's happening, guys? What's happening?
You know, they had their little Misato Shinji moment. You know what I'm saying? If you want to motivate a young man, that's how you do it. Like that you know, that's how you do it.
That's all facts.
I know a lot of people was looking at that panel. You know, with the Yugi Moto meme. It should have been me, not him.
The jealousy was profile.
Yeah. If it works, it works.
Oh, he didn't lie.
Well, that's why he had to come back. Of course he was gonna. That was in his memory for the rest of his life. As an adult, he's probably having mad dreams, the maddest of dreams throughout the series over that one kiss.
Yeah, it's crazy too, because like he didn't see her after that for 7 years later.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
Good actually, man.
Right, we'll do favorite arc or / moment. So whoever has one ready can go.
Listen, I'm ready. Favorite arc is been consistent from the anime to the manga, and my first read and my reread. My favorite arc is the suicide mission in the North, and I think is the reason why is, first of all, Claymore is a very consistent series, so I think like any stretch of chapters can like compete with one another, even if it's not like I will have a different opinion on where I rank it. I think like everything can, like, you'll be like, okay, I could see where you're coming from when you pick that. But the reason why the Suicide Mission in the North is my favorite is because of the ending, bro. when Choco was reading it, like I just read the shit and I'm hyped for him reading it because dog, when it gets down to like everybody is being defeated, they can't win a battle of attrition. It's the suicide mission. This is it. Y'all supposed to die. You're not supposed to win. You did a good job taking out Ricardo, but all right, now it's time to end this shit. When everybody is starting to die out, we have like our main people. You still have Claire there. You still have Miria, and then you have Priscilla saying like, I forgot exactly what she said. But it's like she's giving you a notification like, okay, this person just died, and then when she like says it's done and it's just over, I was like, oh. Yo, I was like, we just lost.
That's you mad.
Yeah, and Claymore is a series to where there's a lot of tension in it because they can get away with it. Like, obviously, you don't expect Claire to die because she never got to confront Priscilla. But Claymore is a series to where they can kill their characters and have new Claymore or focus on different Claymore. I mean, we seamlessly went into the whole Teresa thing, so who's to say we can't do that with another character? And I think, you know, having that sense of danger just heightened that moment for me. I was like, yo, these they really doing this? Like, we really just out? And then we got the whole reveal of, you know, Miria's plan with the pills. Then 7 people ended up surviving, and I was like, okay, yeah, this is dope.
I agree. Because even the guy committed to it, because we got, I think, the next chapter, we see the new number 47. I was like, whoa. Where's the actual MC? Where's the actual MC? Get this fake off my screen, please. Remove her immediately.
Bro, she came up to Clarice reported for duty number 47. It's like, oh no, we really getting a new one?
That ain't it.
At all.
You know that meme when they said that it's like you press enter, it's like improve. No, go back.
Yeah.
That's how it was, like, go back. I don't want this no more.
That was despair. That arc was despair. I thought we were having despair before, but like, that arc was true despair. People were just dropping bodies on the floor.
Yeah, and it had my favorite fight. Claire versus Ricardo is my favorite fight in the series.
That was clean. Was that one that she was half awakened?
Yeah, bro.
Yeah. Oh my God. She was moving.
That's where I say, like, the anime did a very good job with, because the scene of when Ricardo is about to cut down Miria, she's unconscious and falling down, and Claire's running and she's like, I'm not fast enough. The way the anime did is they like slow down the moment, and then the atmosphere is literally cold, because when she transforms, and all the anime shows you, it's like at least that episode, they show you the glowing yellow eyes, they show her teeth to show that she's how much Yoki power she's using, and you see the legs, bruh. Oh man, that was clean.
It's crazy.
I was baffed. I was like, well, how is she half still Claymore and then half, you know, awakened? And obviously they explained it, but that was mad.
Just thinking about it, when Ricardo said he looked at his arm, he said, what the hell?
Now, what's happening here?
Yeah, even he was caught off guard, like, bro, what just happened?
Nah, everybody was caught off guard, because I was like, because you're trying to give context to the situation. You're like, okay, like, she's not fully awakened, but what is this? Clearly there's something going on, and will we ever get the Claire we know back? Because I was thinking she was a goner after that. I was like, yeah, after this she's gonna fully, you know, dive into the abyss and become an abyssal one, and that's Claire gone, but luckily not.
Yeah, and they committed to that too, you know, because it took the gene sacrifice for her to come back. So you know, they didn't just make it to where like Claire just somehow is able to revert back on her own free will. It's like it took a loss for that to happen.
Yes, we lost a real one. I think that's another reason why Claymore is good, because we actually have consequences, you know. Like, you can't make these bad decisions without paying for it.
No, it's true. Like, whatever you do, and especially like it was showcased throughout the series, like anybody can die. It was one of those when you're like, okay, I know I love this character, but I don't want to get too attached to it, because I know that if they die, it's gonna hurt me. I think the only person I knew wouldn't die during the series until the end, like they might die at the end, was Claire. I was like, Claire can't die. Everybody else, yeah,
it's open season, isn't it?
It's true.
Okay. What about you, Raguel? What's your favorite arc or moment?
I think I was gonna do like I'll touch on my favorite arc real quick and jump in a moment. My favorite arc was right after Satsuki's favorite, the Genesis of War, and it was that period after like we had the 7-year gap, and it was very dialogue heavy, and the survivors were trying to get their heads back together, trying to get physically in the moment to understand and comprehend everything they've kind of gone through and where they go from there. And I think it was just good to see a lot of different characters kind of voice their opinions and their thoughts on their situation, and how you've seen the journey affect what kind of opinion they have. Like, and that's because that's when the group started to split up and say, oh, I'm going to go to the north. Some people went to Rabona, to the city. Some people went elsewhere, you know what I mean, that we want to achieve. And it obviously has something to do with the organization, overthrowing the organization, or making sure that the organization has less power some way. But we all have to do our things first. We all have to settle our business first, like, you know what I mean? And that part was just beautiful to see a lot of the characters grow and develop and become independent thinkers and not individuals who are just following mindless orders, because they at that time weren't even following Miria per se, or even Galatea. They weren't even following her. They were kind of bouncing off each other. They were like, okay, this is what I think, this is what I think, this is what I think I should do. Okay, you do that, I don't agree with that. And it was just good for them to all get understanding of where everybody stands before like everything popped off, and everything did pop off. I think my favorite moment though was Easley and when he fought the Abyssal Eaters. I wouldn't obviously the final fight, but I don't want to even call it fighting, because he didn't put up much of a fight at the end. And
he tried though. He did try.
He did. They had me feeling hella sympathetic for him, because I was like, does he really deserve this? Like,
I don't think so.
Does he actually deserve? That's like the worst way for someone to die. That's the worst way I've seen someone die in a manga in a while, top of my head. Like, to be eaten alive, bruh. I can't even imagine. And the thing is, he was so competent and so like deep in his thought that you could really see how much like hope he had for what he could become and his growth. He was like, I had, there's so much more potential in me as beyond in Abyssal one. And obviously chilling with Raki and Priscilla gave him that kind of family vibe, and he was like, oh, maybe there's more to my existence and I can have things that I didn't believe I could. And it was just like a pain to watch him at his like last moments grasp at the idea. It was like he was kind of content with his death, but also like saddened at what it could have been, like what his life and existence could have entailed. And I think he felt that, like many of the Claymores and Abyssal ones we've seen in the series, they get to a moment where their eyes are open to the fact that they can have relationships. They can grow with people and have a depth of meaning in somebody else's life, and like vice versa, somebody's life have a depth of meaning in theirs. And just seeing him fiddle with that idea in his last moments, it made me hate the organization so much. Like, I hate them with all my heart. I'm like, why? Oh, they're so useless, man.
I feel you on that one, because even though Isley, he was a problem, I don't think he deserved to be eaten up by these man-eating monsters. It was very distasteful to see the way he was devoured, and even with Re4 as well, the way they got her out, it was very sad to see, because we see these guys, especially the way they were sectioned in the story, they were so powerful, and to see them get reduced to like bare bones, because again, eaten by these monsters who have no soul. Basically, they're just mindless, just trying to feed, and it's so weird to see, because especially when the characters are so strong, but they can't beat the stamina of the abyssal eaters. And like you were saying with Isley, as the story was progressing, he kind of becomes more humanized, and we see more sides to him that make him more open and interesting, and you kind of want to learn more about him. But when we reach that point in the story where he's getting defeated by the the abyssal ones, it's I wouldn't say it's I'm not gonna say it's underwhelming, but it's a subdued ending for someone who was so grand when he was being introduced, if you get what I mean.
I hear that, because as a character he had a lot of potential, he had so much more to give, and I think what hurt me the most is the fact that he was killed by things that were soulless. There were things that like had no emotion, couldn't bounce off of him, because like with the other claymores or abyssal ones' deaths, when they're fighting somebody who has some sort of emotion, like you're able to pull out something deep within them in their final moments. Like like at least if I'm dying, I want the person killing me to have I want to see emotion in their, like, are they angry? Are they sad? Am I touching on their humanity? Like, what, I want to look into their eyes, like what Rick Ross said. I was like, I want to see I want to see my killer in the eye. I want to see it. I want to see that. But he didn't get to see that. He saw nothing looking at him. And then that's pain.
Yeah, it's kind of it's messed up with easily, because it's like you said, there's like no story, like there's a purpose for it, but there's no character story for the abyssal eaters killing him. It's just there's nothing to it. It's just he's kind of used as a footstool to show you how strong these abyssal eaters are and how dangerous they are, because they're taking out abyssal ones. So like, yeah, it wasn't the most satisfying end to his character. It's definitely disappointing, especially like given like the lives he touched. Especially like with his training with Rocky. I mean, he like his lessons to Rocky, I guess, that was something that they gave you, so it's not like you're completely devoid of easily impact in the series. But on a personal level, you don't really get too much other than his fight with what was her name? Someone help me out. What was her name? The other abyssal one, Lucille? Luciella?
Yes, I think Luciella.
Yeah. Other than like that, yeah, he don't really get too much from easily.
He went outside. I'm not gonna lie. He went outside. No.
It'd be like that, man. He knew what it was being a man in this series.
He did, fam. He knew. He was ready on the countdown. It was bound to happen. He just had to wait.
Man.
Okay, I think my favorite arc is probably the Endless Gravestones, and I think I was talking about it earlier with Claire and Ophelia, that whole ordeal she went through. I think that was a moment in the series where I was thinking, this author must hate his main character because of what he put her through. And I remember this arc distinctly, because anytime I was posting my post, Satsuki was just there laughing because of the ordeal Claire was getting put through, all the abuse she was taking from Ophelia. He was celebrating. I was thinking, why is this guy so happy?
I told you, I love to see the MCs get humbled and beat down. One of my favorite moments is Hunter x Hunter, the Hunter exams, when Gon gets mollywopped by Hanzo, because it wasn't even a fight. And I'm just, I think it's kind of courageous when the author just lets you know, like, yo, they're not at that level yet. You're gonna have to wait on that.
It's True.
There's some steps to get to that level, and Ophelia was a different animal.
Bro, she was different. Oh my days. I was so stressed throughout the whole arc, and then Arlena, she came through quick draw. Oh, that entrance alone. Oh, it was cold.
Man. Yeah, that was a great way to reintroduce her into the story.
Especially because I didn't even know she was alive still. And then like you have this little arc with her and Claire talking about, oh yeah, you can learn my technique, and then Claire's too weak, obviously. I was like, okay, so how's she gonna get stronger then? And she gives up her arm, and I was like, whoa, wow, this is a big moment. And then Claire's like, okay, yeah, I'll give you back this arm. And then obviously we see that Alina gets killed by, I think her name's Raffaello. Yeah, that would be upset, I can't lie. And then what's that, Ophelia, she turns into the awakened one, and she doesn't even realize. That was crazy. I think Claire versus Ophelia, the rematch, is one of my favorite fights in the series because of how just the dynamics and the way that Ophelia just turns without even noticing herself, and Claire kind of has to put her out from like a mercy standpoint, because she's even shocked that she was transformed into this thing, because they don't even tell the Claymores that the awakened ones and Claymores are basically one and the same. It's one of the reasons why trusting an organization is not in your best interest. But I think, and also it gave me one of the my favorite volume covers, because that volume 7 with Claire standing in the water and just the shimmers around her is beautiful. Honestly, it's beautiful. Top. It's probably my favorite volume cover from the series. There's a lot of good ones, but that 7, it touched me differently. I need to buy it because I need that in my hands.
I only have one Claymore volume, and it's the last one.
I can't find that one online, you know.
Really? Damn.
I can't find it. I checked on Amazon, but it wasn't there.
Crazy.
Must be
I got that. I got that a long time ago, though.
Yeah, that's the thing with these quote-unquote old series, because it's not really that old. I don't think. Came out 2000s, I believe.
Yeah, I think it late 2000, maybe like 2008, something like that. Or maybe it's early. No, yeah, it may have been earlier than that. Definitely the 2000s though.
But yeah, Endless Gravestones, great arc. One of my favorites, as I mentioned. But as we come to the close of a good discussion, I want you guys to pitch to the people why read this series out of all the mangas and animes in this world. Why should they read Claymore by Norihiro Yagi?
Well, I'll go quickly. I'll do mine quick.
Okay.
Because I feel like it's very simple. If you like beautiful women, if you like deep characters, if you like excellence, then you would read this. Like, it's such a beautiful written and illustrated piece. Like, just please, if you watched and listened to this far, you have to read it. You actually have no choice. Read it. That's me.
Jeez,
I respect it. Yeah, like Claymore is a series that I think I'm not really disappointed with anything in it. Like, we can pick apart moments here and there, but like there's not something in a grand scheme that I'm mad about. I feel like this series is the model of consistency. It has its peaks, but it doesn't have many lows, if any at all. And I think it has high points with everything. The art, the character, like just the cast in general, the story, the world building, the power system, all of that. It's an easy series to get into. It's one of those things to where you don't have to wait to chapter 50 or chapter whatever. I think very early on you'll tell, okay, I like this series. I can't say I've met anybody who's dropped Claymore or anything. Yeah, and I think it appeals to everybody. Like, if you're somebody who just likes fights, Claymore is for you. If you're someone who likes a story to the fight, you want meaning to it, you don't just want to see people throw hands just for the sake of throwing hands, Claymore has that as well. So I don't really think this series is unappealing to anyone. I feel like this is a series that anyone can enjoy, unless you're someone who literally just doesn't like fighting series. Like, if you're just slice of life person, then okay, then yeah, that's different. But yeah, Claymore is it's a series for everybody.
Agreed. I think
Definitely.
the special thing about Claymore is it takes so many aspects where I feel other series are weak in, and I'll just use one example with female characters. This series is built on female characters, strong females, and it proves that you can have your battle shonens and you can write your women to be competent, battle strong, multifaceted, and they carry the story. I mean, I think Satsuki mentioned it earlier with Isley, but the men, I wouldn't say they get done dirty, but they're definitely in the back seat, and it's not really something that you notice, because even though the characters are all female, they're all written well, they're all just great characters in general. It's not a great female character, it's just a great character. And Claymore, as Satsuki mentioned as well, is consistent. I don't think there was a single arc where I thought, yeah, this arc is meaty. No, every single arc is good. Every single arc will hit a high point which will touch you, and you'll be thinking, what is going on in this story? Where are we going? What's happening? And the storyline, it will make sense. Certain things will happen and it starts adding up, and we get to a climax in certain points of the series which will transition to the next phase of the story, and it all links up very well. I think even better if you reread it. And world building, he expands the world greatly. And one thing, Isayama, he needs to run Norihiro a check, because he did this whole zombie thing before Isayama ever did it, I believe anyway.
Facts.
There's a lot of similarities between Attack on Titan and Claymore in the aspects where the Doma or the awakened ones are Claymores, how we're on a small island which is actually part of a bigger world, and the way those two aspects are used throughout the story is very, I think he utilized it very well, because of it didn't feel contrived when it was revealed that, oh yeah, this is just a testing ground for the country who are warring right now. I was like, oh wow, now it's starting to make sense why we have these things. And it kind of makes you question, why would you think this is all that there is to the world? Why didn't we think there was things bigger than this? But to sum it up, why you should read Claymore, excellent characters, excellent art, and an excellent story. And I think if you like stories in general, I'm sure one of the things in Claymore will appeal to you. And if it doesn't, I want you to explain to me why, because I'm interested.
If it doesn't, the beautiful women will get you. You stay for the excellent eye candy, the beauty.
Got no cheeks though.
Or listen, I can never say her name. What is it? Is it Deneve? I always say Deneve in my head. Yeah, the Sabu from her, like she not even like the most attractive, but the Sabu was crazy with her.
Strong.
Had me life changing, some would say. I was like, "Rah, is this what I'm getting as well?" Oh my days! I was like, "You're giving me too much. This can't be an excellent read and also great on the eye. That's too much. My heart can take it. I might die."
It was dope, man. Dope.
Oh, it's really lit, man.
Okay. Any final comments before we close out, guys?
I really enjoyed this. I'm not gonna lie to you. Really enjoyed this discussion, and I have to shout out my guy Satsuki, and hopefully we get to have many more conversations along the line. But this one was really fun, man.
Oh, for sure. Any other series y'all want to talk about, man? I'm up for it. There's probably a lot of series I haven't really had a chance to discuss, like on a platform like this. A lot of times I just read my stuff and I'll be in my corner. But you know, it was cool to discuss Claymore because I don't think I've ever really like talked about Claymore with anybody too much.
Yeah, man, you're always welcome. And also, I want to shout out your channel. Was it Satsuki the Savage and Satsuki the Reactor? Go subscribe to those, like, watch all the videos. Very good videos, especially the effort that's put into them. Because when you told me you do your editing on your phone, that's when I had to start putting in more effort. Because I'm thinking, this guy, he's producing these high quality videos and it's on his phone. I got a laptop and I'm not even trying to do editing. I have to. You actually encouraged me to step up because I was thinking I can't be slack. I can't be making excuses because you're making the most of your resources, and it shows in the work.
Listen, I appreciate it. I wouldn't advise anybody to do what I do, not because it's like it's hard, because for me it's just I'm kind of just used to editing on my phone. For me, I'm more comfortable, and also I have a problem sitting on because I have a PC. If I had a laptop, it may be different, but I don't really like sitting at my computer too much. So for me, it's easier to edit on my phone because I can lay down, do whatever. I could be out. I don't have to be in my home. But if you can learn to do it a different way, do it a different way, because you're going to be limited in what you can do. But I try to make the most of it.
Okay, right then. So this was a Claymore discussion talking about Norihiro Yagi's greatness, featuring AK Mindset X Satsuki the Savage, and we are out. Deuces.
Peace.